Welcome to the Hmong Peeps Show, the one and only show that brings you ordinary people sharing extraordinary insights. Well, maybe. Here is your host, Chew Effin Lee.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Chew. Welcome to the Hmong Peeps Show. Not a lot happened this past week for me. I thought that Labor Day weekend was going to be a fun-filled weekend, but I forgot that I had a lot of family obligations to go to. So we did do my son Adam's 7th birthday. That was awesome. He really enjoyed it. And then the next day, I almost forgot about my cousin's Chopli. So that took the entire day. Then Monday, I can't even remember right now what I did on Monday, but I think we hung out. I hung out with my brothers that day and that night, and we stayed up way too damn late. And I took Tuesday off to kind of relax, but that didn't really turn out that way. I had to go help my brother with his patio deck. We've been working on that sucker since, I think, July. But, we're not expert, construction people, so we're playing it by ear, and we're just following his basic floor plan for that. But I got good news for my family. My brother just had a baby boy today, baby Cohen. So that's cool. He has 2 daughters. Finally, he has a son. And as a father, and I know most of you that listen to this show are women, but as a father, it's an undescribable feeling to have a son. Not saying that we prefer to have sons over having daughters, but I'm sure it works the other way around too, where people who have sons or fathers who have sons would also like to have a daughter, right? Which is kind of my situation. I have 2 boys, and I am very blessed. I don't have a daughter, but hey, if that's in God's plans, then it'll happen. But yeah, congratulations to Tu and Sheng. They had their first son, so that's very exciting for our family. All right, today I want to talk about 2 things. One is a meditation exercise I want to share with you guys, and then I also want to talk about something that I guess it's really not for this niche, the spirituality show, but it'll be something that maybe a lot of you can relate to, and maybe you might have some insights as well. And I'm going to call that portion the state of Hmong culture. So let's talk about meditation first. The exercise I want to share with you, and this is very simple. You can do it anytime, anywhere. Well, actually not anytime, but I've done this meditation exercise many times, and the results have always been amazing to me. Okay, and I'm not talking about hearing or receiving messages. I'm talking about just seeing and experiencing vibrant colors. Okay, and some of these colors that I've seen, there's no colors on this planet, or there's no words to describe those colors. Okay, and here's how you do this meditation. So when it's a sunny day, I prefer for you to do it outdoors. When it's a clear sunny day, I want you to go out and just close your eyes and face the sun. Okay, and I don't want you to do this without sunblock. I don't want you to get sunburned and then you're going to come back and tell me, Chew, you didn't tell me about that part, right? But when you do this exercise, just find a comfortable spot, face the sun, and close your eyes and just do a lot of deep breathing exercises. Okay, just inhale and then exhale, that type of thing. And spend about 5 to 10 minutes doing this, and just pay attention to what colors are being shown to you or what colors you're seeing. And I am very confident that you will start seeing many different colors that you've never seen before. Don't expect to see colors, just let it be. Allow it to come. Okay. I've never heard any or received messages when I've done this exercise, because my focus has just been to relax and appreciate life. That's like my thought when I'm doing this meditation exercise. I've done it in the car. I don't like shopping, but when my wife does take me along or drag me along, I should say take me along. But when she's in the store and I'll be in the car, and if the sun's out, then I'll just use that time to meditate and experience the colors that come through. So what are you going to get out of this? I mean, I don't know if you're going to receive any messages, but I'm sure you're going to experience the awesomeness of the sun and the energy that comes through. Okay, so give that a shot. Let me know how it works out for you, and leave a comment if you can. All right, so this next topic, the state of Hmong culture. What I'm about to say may resonate with some of you in a positive way, or it may come off as offensive or insulting. And those are not my intentions. These are just my opinions, just my observations, and they can be subjective, okay? And you do not have to agree at all about what I'm about to share with you, my insights. So, I understand that a lot of us were born in Laos or Thailand, right? And then we grew up here in America. Many of us, experienced the whole culture clash with other people, and even with our own parents or our elders, right? And the clash becomes, the elders wanting us to be very enmeshed into our culture. So I'll share something, like an example. So me growing up, I was born in Laos. I have no memories of it. I was probably like maybe not even 1 year old, and we came to this country. So I don't have no memories of it. So I know nothing but America as far as just memories. And growing up, my parents have always told me, especially my father, he's always been like, you need to learn Hmong culture. You need to study it. You need to be proud of it. And it's who you are. Don't forget about it, because it defines who you are. That's your identity. So it was tough for me to grow up trying to, satisfy that part of my life or my identity. At the same time, I'm trying to focus on school, and this is more of my high school years and my adult life. And I just couldn't find time to, balance learning Hmong culture. I mean, I learned Hmong culture by talking to my father here and there, going with him to family functions or weddings, funerals, marriage resolution sessions, which I think is BS, but so I kind of learned by watching. But he wanted me to, and this applies to mostly the males. Okay, there's the other part for females too, and I'll try to get into that in a little bit too. But for the males, we get that pressure of learn to become itumekong and learn the funeral ceremony rites, and one day you're going to need to go do that, right? Or things like that. And I just never, first of all, it was never of any interest to me. And so, but I understood how important it is to, remind me of my roots. And I don't take that for granted. I think it's important to know where you came from. But I've always had this issue of, what's more important right now, in my life and for my family's future, like my wife and my kids' future. And one thing that has helped me make a decision is this. And again, this is the part that may offend some people. And here's how I've looked at it. Because we live in America, land of opportunities, and people always say there's always bills to pay, right? So I look at it like this: is Hmong culture gonna pay my bills? Like learning Hmong culture and practicing it, is it gonna pay my bills? Most likely not, right? Let's be real. So I have to. That's my thought process. Kind of like my logic behind all this. And when I do have time, I will go and learn it as much as I can. Now I see a lot of young folks who are able to find balance for some reason. And these are like very young. A lot of them are like teenagers or even younger. Their parents put them or enroll them into these Hmong culture classes after school, and they learn how to choking, and they learn how to become a mekong. I am very, very happy for those folks, and I admire that about them, and I commend them for continuing to do this. But for me, I just never found time to do it because I wasn't interested in it, and also, and as I got older, like I mentioned to you guys before, I don't see how it's going to pay my bills. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm not proud of being Hmong. I am proud of being Hmong, but like every culture out there, there are a lot of things about my own culture that I'm not proud of, and I'm not afraid or ashamed to talk about it. Okay, for example, gender inequality. That bothers the hell out of me whenever I think about it. So, for Hmong culture, when we talk about going to learn how to become a mikong, and for funeral ceremonies. And my father and I, we used to get into these arguments about how if I don't learn it one day, I'm going to have to go ta lote to papena, right? And I think it's more of his pride and ego that's talking, because my dad, he knows these things. For funerals, right? And I think for him, he really wants us to carry that tradition. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do that for him. I have 4 other brothers, but again, we are, we're growing up differently, and it's not a big interest for us to learn this stuff. And when my dad and we used to get into these things, one day I remember telling him, about Mutal, I said to him, Dad, it's not only us that's going to have to go ask for help. A lot of people in my generation, we're all guilty of not learning and knowing this. Not all, but, the majority of my generation. So it's just not your kids, man. Other people are going to have to do it. And he doesn't like that answer because he's very prideful. He doesn't want to go have to ask outsiders to come help do these things. But I think he's fighting a losing battle. And I think a lot of parents, his generation, who are having these conflicts with their kids, are also fighting a losing battle. And is it sad? Yeah, I think it's pretty sad too, because the kids are not, the majority of the kids are not going to be able to carry the tradition. But given the times that we're in, and our environment, it's just not doable at this point, in my opinion. Okay. And now when we talk about like the whole gender inequality thing, Jesus, I can't believe it still happens to this day. I don't think it's necessarily a cultural thing, but I think it's how people respect each other. And I think respect is a universal way of treating other people, right? And in this country, again, the morals and values that I've grown up with, I'm looking at it from a logistical standpoint. For example, making a meal together between you and your partner and for your kids, right? Traditionally, in our culture, I'm the man, so my privilege is supposed to be to sit and wait for my wife to cook, prepare the meal, then call me to go eat at the table. Then once I'm done eating, I leave the table, come watch TV or whatever, and she ends up cleaning and all that stuff. That does not happen in my household between me and my wife. She cooks, and I am a very, very good dishwasher. I'll tell you guys that right now. And I remember my dad, when he saw me doing this, he said he made like a little comment underneath his breath to my brothers. And look at you, he's doing some women work. I don't care, because logistically, I look at it like, okay, my wife, we all have different sets of skills, right? And cooking is not one of my specialty. Yes, I can learn it. Okay, I get that part. Some people who are feminists will say, well, go learn then. Yeah, I do know how to cook, but I'm not as good as my wife, when it comes to cooking, and I'm okay with that. I can own that piece, okay? But when we're cooking, if she needs me to help her, she'll tell me, hey, Chu, I need you to go do this. I need you to, cut up some cilantros, green onions, or get vegetables ready. I do it without complaining, okay? And then after a meal, I don't just go to the couch and sit and watch. I do the dishes, She'll help she'll help bring the dishes to the sink or whatever, and I'm there washing dishes, because why should she have to do everything from start to finish? It just doesn't make sense, especially if you have things to do, if you have a schedule that you're running by. If you help your partner finish these chores, logistically, you get to get that out of the way faster. That's how I see it. Okay, but some traditional folks will say, you're whooped. You're doing women's work. Well, I don't give a shit what you say about that piece, man. I just look at it like, hey, my wife is happy that I can help her, but I care about my wife's happiness. And for you, I'm speaking to men now, the traditional men. If you don't care about your wife's happiness, then that's probably why you don't help her out. Okay? It's all about you being wanting to be treated like a king or the man of the house, and that's your definition. Whatever. If that works for you and your wife is totally happy doing that, hey man, more power to you guys. But that shit don't run in my household. So the state of Hmong culture is starting to change, and it's going to be interesting how our culture is going to be like in the next 10 years. When I used to be a Hmong language teacher, I would tell my students, right now you have a teacher who's actually Hmong, which is me, and I can read and write, and I'm teaching you how to read and write in your native language. And if you guys don't learn this, when your kids want to learn about Hmong language, maybe the instructor or the teacher is not going to be Hmong anymore. It might be a white person. Something to think about. And is that okay? I think that's okay. But for those of you who are very like Hmong pride, proud to be Hmong and all that stuff, it'll be a little bit embarrassing, right? Let's just be honest. All right, so yeah, the state of Hmong culture, it's changing. I think we're gonna lose a lot of it, the traditions, and we have to figure out a way to either be okay with it, or if we don't want to be okay with it, then we need to really figure out a way to keep it alive. And in my opinion, I think the way to keep it alive is going to be documenting it in books, which I'm sure have already started. I've seen some books about how to perform funerals and weddings. which is great, okay? But it's just not the same like how it used to be in Laos. And I'm sure you guys have had these conversations with your peers, but just wanted to share my thoughts on this. And I would be more than happy to hear what you guys have to say about this. You can disagree, you can agree, whatever is fine. Feel free to leave a comment below. Alright, folks, that's it. And I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Bye.